Well, let's talk to someone who has got a say in the vote tonight. That's the Tory MP for Beckenham, which is in Tier 2, Colonel Bob Stewart. Good morning to you, Bob.
Hello, Julia.
Big vote tonight, tier restrictions as the end of the lockdown happens. How are you going to vote?
I'm going to vote with the government.
Why?
Well, listen, I was not keen on the lockdown, and I did actually speak to the Prime Minister about this because I said, I'm not very keen. And he said, well, from my position, and this is his view, from my position, I have to listen to the experts. Whatever you say, the experts. And the experts are the Chief Scientific Officer of this country and the Chief Medical Officer of this country, and SAGE. Now, there are a huge number of experts on the internet. I sometimes wonder if they're all doctors or they've been to university. But these experts are all saying that the Prime Minister's got this wrong and that they've got it right. There is a difference. The difference is this, and this is what the Prime Minister said to me, and this is, in my view, battle-winning. He said, all these people that are disagreeing with the way we're tackling this problem, I accept there are different views, but there is one crucial difference between them and me. If I make a decision and I get it wrong, a hell of a lot of people are going to die.
Yeah, well, small point, Bob. But Boris Johnson took the job. He campaigned to be Tory leader and he campaigned to be Prime Minister. So on his head be it. Right. This is the thing. This isn't a debate between world-renowned scientific experts, like Chris Whitty and Patrick Vallance, and John on the internet who goes, I don't think it's a good idea. This is a major scientific debate based on the data and based on the facts. The data that we were offered for going into lockdown originally, the one that you were not very keen on, was a lie. It wasn't just a matter of debate. It was certifiably, provably, at the time, known to be untrue, and would have been known to be untrue by both Patrick Vallance and Chris Whitty. I'm citing the 4,000 a day possibility. Virtually every single thing that's been spouted in terms of a computer model so far in this whole pandemic has been shown to be untrue. The data on what we do know, i.e. what is actually happening in terms of infection rates, in terms of people going into hospital, in hospital beds, in ICU, on ventilators, people dying, tells us infection rates were going down before lockdown. They've continued to go down as a result of the tiers, gone down during lockdown anyway, and they're continuing to go down now. Why are you supporting more measures which have no scientific basis? Telling a pub that... Bob. Telling a pub... I will give you a chance to answer. You had plenty of time to answer the last question. I'll give you plenty of time on the next one. Telling a pub you can't serve a drink unless someone's sitting down having a meal at the same time. There is no scientific or medical judgment or basis for that rule. So why are you voting for it?
Because I think we've got to take these measures to try and keep this horrid pandemic under control.
But there's no medical evidence for it.
Well, I'm sorry, but you say there's no evidence for it.
No, the government hasn't produced any evidence for it.
I'm sorry, the government's got the job, Julia, of governing the country. It's got to make decisions. They
based
may
on
not
evidence.
Be popular. I mean, I don't want to be in Tier 2 out here in Beckenham. I don't want that. I want us to actually have full freedom.
Oh, well, you all want that. But we haven't all got the choice to vote for it. No, but I'm all in favour of us doing things that will stop the spread of the virus, and it should be proportionate to the threat of the virus. There is no medical or scientific evidence or data of any kind to support a lot of the government's restrictions. Why are you voting for them?
Well, because I actually believe in it. Look,
you believe in it, even though there's no evidence. You just told me that we need to listen to the scientists.
I'm sorry. Are you shouting at me? Because I'm
a voter. I've got the right to shout at politicians when you do stupid things. Yes, I am shouting at you. You are too intelligent a man, and I've known you for years, I think too moral a man, to vote for something that you know is wrong.
You've got to do it, Julia. That's why I'm... Look, this is a time when we've got to actually support the Prime Minister. We've got... Oh, yeah, all right, fine, you scoff. I mean, that's your job to scoff.
No, it's my job to hold politicians to account.
Well, I'm answering. There a lot of people in my constituency want us not to have these restrictions. I totally accept that. But one heck of a lot also want more strict restrictions put on. We're in my constituency. There are two views, and they're very much at either end of the poll. A lot of people are saying, why the heck are we allowing people to go home at Christmas? This is going to cause a real problem, for instance. So I am saying I think the government is doing its very best to try and get this right. You may not agree. You may not say there's not evidence for it. Well, okay, fine. But the government's got to govern. And actually, I think the infection rate is coming down. We want the infection rate to come down as much as we can because we want to save people's lives. In the north of England, I understand, in some areas, hospital capacity is at 98%. It's full. They're full. I mean,
in a handful of hospitals in a very small area, they have extra pressure. No, it is a handful of hospitals. No, it is. Sorry, Bob. I look at the actual official government data on this stuff. It's not a question about what people believe or what people think. There is a philosophical and moral judgment to make about how much freedom you're willing to take away from people.
I don't want any freedom taken away from
but
people.
You're voting to do that. That's a different discussion. But if your argument is that, well, we have to do it because it's actually going to work, you need to produce the evidence. The government was asked to provide the evidence. They have not provided the evidence. If there was evidence, surely they'd have published it.
Well, I think they're trying their very best to get the evidence. I mean, it's not easy. I am just, having spoken to the Prime Minister, I accept his viewpoint. And his viewpoint is, I don't have a choice.
He does have a choice, and you have a choice.
No, his view is he doesn't have a choice. He has got to do it.
But that's a load of nonsense.
All right, fine.
But it is a load of nonsense. Of course he has a choice. There are a million of different choices about what restrictions you could impose, if any, or at all, on people's lives and liberties and livelihoods to protect people from this virus.
Well, I have to say you're probably right. I mean, there are lots of choices. But the choice,
so he does have a choice?
No, he views the point that he's had this advice from the people he considers to be the experts.
And the people who've given him the wrong advice previously.
Okay, fine. I get that.
Would you trust an expert who had told you that 4,000 people would, and when that was already proven to be untrue? Would you trust that expert? I wouldn't trust that expert.
Well, here's the point. The experts are the people who are meant to be in charge of the health of this country, or the people that give advice on it. Now, the Prime Minister cannot accept experts that are not in official positions. He can't.
But what about people like Carl Hennigan, the Professor of Evidence-Based Medicine from Oxford University? What about my next guest, who's the lead scientist on the Zoe COVID symptom study app and he's Professor of Genetic Epidemiology at King's College London? Are they experts enough to listen to?
Well, yeah, sure. Are they on the stage?
No, but why aren't they on the stage when they've got behavioural psychologists on stage?
They should be putting on, I don't understand why if they're so expert, they should be on the SAGE committee.
Have a word with your big mate Boris then.
I will do that.
Right, okay. Bob Stewart, we'll have to leave it there just because the time is running against us. I'm disappointed in you, I'm not going to lie. I'm disappointed in you. Colonel Bob Stewart, Tory MP for Beckenham in Tier 2. Maybe he'd vote against if it was Tier 3, I don't know. Boris Johnson doesn't have a choice. We've got to listen to the experts. I mean, God, all I'm doing is listen to the experts. And I don't know how anyone listening to the experts could come to any different conclusion. Benedict Spence, final word on that. What did you make of that? I mean, I understand these MPs who want to be supportive of Boris Johnson. I think he's got a terrible, difficult job. No one would want to be in his position. But of course Boris Johnson has a choice.
I mean, I understand the point about the optics of if he gets the decision wrong, Boris Johnson's he would be in a lot of trouble because a lot of people would have died. But I think the thing is, you cannot, in any sort of good conscience, set yourself up as the leader, the democratically elected leader of a country, and then relegate all responsibility to experts that your government has appointed and say, well, I have to do this because this is this is what the experts say. No, actually, that is not the point. You do not just wash your hands, like Pontius Pilate and say, no, this is nothing to do with me, Gov. This is the experts and my hands are tied.
Yeah, I've absolutely nailed it there. Benedict Spence, thank you very much.